Welcome to School Zone, the show all about your local school districts here in the White Mountains. I'm your host, Jennifer J. from White Mountain Radio. Today we have Cynthia Whipple, choir director for Show Low High School, and Nathan Adams, former band orchestra director for Show Low Junior High. Hi guys, welcome.
Hey.
Hi. Thank you for coming after your long day of teaching.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it very much. So basically, I'm going to ask you guys, and we're just going to bounce back and forth and kind of, get the same answers from both of you. You are from Show Low, and you have been teaching for how long?
This is my 12th year teaching, 9th year here in Show Low.
Okay.
So I taught 3 years in Joseph City, and then I came back home to Show Low to teach here.
Wonderful. And you strictly do music now?
Yes.
Have you ever done outside of that?
Nope, I've always taught music education. Started doing 4th grade through 12th grade, and then when I came back to Show Low, I was doing 5th grade through 8th grade. And now I just do high school choir and 1 guitar class.
Wonderful, yeah. So, and then Nathan, for you, you were band, right, is that right, choir?
Band.
Former band director, but now you teach 2nd grade.
Yes. Yeah, this is my fourth year teaching actually. Right now I'm teaching 2nd grade in Linden Elementary School. And I taught a year in Winslow for 3 elementary schools there, and then I moved to the junior high here in Show Low for a couple years.
Well, we were just laughing about the fact that it is later in the day. As teachers, you get going in the morning early. Well, we all do, basically, but those 2nd graders take the life right out of you.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they're so full of enthusiasm, so they keep you going, definitely. How did you both become or get involved with being in the music field and being music teachers?
I started music probably when I was about 5 years old. My parents, of course, claim that I was born singing. But I have loved music all of my life. It was actually when I was a 6th grader that, in fact, a current teacher here in Show Low and a previous teacher that has retired, Laura Schulten and Marshall Pratt, kind of got me loving music even more.
Wow, that's nice.
And they kind of instilled in me that love of music, even wanting to teach other kids. I always wanted to be a teacher when I was a little girl.
Did you walk around the house singing all the time, or were you a shower singer?
Oh, I sang around the house, played the piano.
Give us a quick line. Can you do that? Can you sing?
I don't know.
No, is that too much on the spot for you?
Let me think on that one.
We'll come back if you want to, but that's good. So always you've been interested in it.
I've always loved music, and it was kind of those early years of middle school, headed into junior high, that I thought, hey, I want to be a teacher like Mr. Pratt, like Mrs. Schulten. And so that love just kind of went with me, and all through high school that's what I wanted to do. So I transferred to EAC after high school, and
EAC?
Eastern Arizona College, down in Thatcher. Majored in music education and got my associates there, and then went to Brigham Young University, Hawaii.
Wow.
And got my bachelor's degree, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. Music was my love, it was my passion, and it's what I wanted to share with kids.
It's, one thing that I've always said, I'm a DJ, I play the music, I love music. It's to me, it's the one thing actually that the world has in common is music, whether it's the kind we listen to here in America, or if it's just drums and sticks, but music is globally done,
it really is.
Some form of music is done around the entire world, which is really neat. It's the one thing that we all have. So Nathan, with you, how did you get involved with it, teaching and becoming the band director?
Kind of the similar experiences as Cynthia. I grew up with my mom just being crazy upset with me all the time, banging on things, and I was always like that. Oh yeah, big time. And sitting there at dinner table and pounding on the table, pounding out all these rhythms, and not really knowing what I was doing. But and then riding in the car with my grandmother, who could not stand hardly any music at all. But I would ask her to turn the station to a classical station, and I was 6 or 7 years old, asking to listen to classical music.
Oh, I love classical music.
And they always thought that was really strange, because I was kind of the black sheep in the family. Everybody listened to rock and roll and country and everything, and there was me listening to classical music. And
I love classical though, it's so peaceful.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
There's a lot of benefits I've heard too of the classical music for the younger kids.
Right.
Yeah, so.
And so
they shouldn't have been deterring you from that.
No, and they weren't. My grandparents were really, really supportive of that, and everybody except for my siblings, I guess. But, and then I had an opportunity to learn how to play one of those instruments that I just loved listening to.
Which was?
Which was tuba.
Oh.
And so in Pinedale, I was going to school there for 5th grade or 6th grade band, and they had the band program started there, and I jumped right in and just took off running, and I guess the rest is history.
It's been your passion.
Yeah, it's been my passion,
Ever
playing
since.
music, and I love teaching music and things like that.
Let me ask you, because you were the band director, how did you switch over to second grade teaching in general? How did you switch over to teaching? Did that particular position get taken away?
No,
or?
it was actually a personal choice.
Okay.
I get that question a lot, and I'm kind of getting used to answering it. But the biggest reason is the time constraint, because as music teachers, there's so much time that is sacrificed outside of the school
Sure.
day with performances and trips and
Practice,
festivals and all
yes.
that stuff. And I wanted to give a little bit more of my time to my family at home, so I could just kind of go to work and then come home from work and not be at work anymore.
Leave it
Yeah.
at school.
Yeah.
Well, because you spend so much time, that becomes almost like your family as
Right,
well.
right.
You know, they don't. Well, I didn't know I was supposed to know about your problems. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's really neat. I'm really scared about this because, unfortunately, I don't want to say the economic stance that we're in right now, but there's so many programs that are being eliminated, and ones that are really crucial to, I think, helping children grow. Is music one of those that is on the verge of being eliminated?
I think it happens all across America, and there are those music programs that get cut. Fortunately, right now in the Show Low School District, music is not something that is on the chopping block.
Oh, good.
At our K2 levels, we do have a teacher's aide teaching in the classroom, a non-certified teacher, but that is the most that we have. We do have certified music educators, 3rd grade through 12th grade, teaching our music students, and they are getting the full benefits of a music education. And as of right now, thanks to our supportive administration team, we are keeping our programs strong. And in fact, our programs have really grown over the last few years. The interest from the kids, there's a real excitement for
Well, you
music.
have parents that actually
yeah.
get involved and say, you
Yes.
can't take away this. This little side question, have there been programs that have been eliminated?
We have lost a few programs in our fine arts area. We did
Okay.
lose our drama program. We are working to build that back up. There have been a few areas that have kind of been cut here and there, but for the most part, we are still building.
Wonderful.
In fact, the orchestra program is growing. It's taken a few
Yeah.
years to get it off the ground, but
for
in
the
the
first
time
time.
that I've been here in Show Low schools, it has really taken off, and we finally have a string class at Show Low High School
How
this
fun.
year.
First time ever, too.
Yeah. We've never had a string class actually during the school day at Show Low High School, and this year we finally have it.
Wow.
And the choral program is strong, 6th grade through 12th grade. We've probably got about 300 students enrolled in the junior high and high school choral program. And the band program, they start in the 5th grade and run through 12th grade. And there are
Yeah.
probably 300, 400 kids that are enrolled in that band program in our district. So for a small school, I would say music is thriving and it's alive and well in
Right,
Show Low.
yeah,
Right.
yes. You feel the same way
Right,
about that, yeah.
absolutely.
I guess a follow-up to that is how imperative is music to helping all children, just not special needs or your, I guess,
Accelerated.
yes, or your ones that are having problems at home. You know, they just say music really does help all children. It's not just catered towards one specific group, you know, but having that being taken away could affect it. But how do you think that music helps kids from all areas? You know, I mean, it gets them involved, it helps them with hand-eye coordination, you know, so what is your take on that?
Music really helps kids with all of their multiple intelligences. It's kind of the core. They get the kinesthetic, the movement, they have the singing, the oral perception, everything. And it helps them with so much. There are proven studies that music is actually helping kids academically.
Right.
And I believe that. In fact, some of the smartest kids that have the strongest academic grades at Show Low High School are enrolled in the music program.
Sure.
And it's very evident. These kids, they love the music, they thrive on it, and it helps them in their classes
Yeah.
and in life.
Right.
So I think it works the same at the elementary level too.
What do you
They
think,
need
Ethan?
it.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, I agree with that completely. And then to kind of add on top of that, one of the things that, especially for me in my experiences growing up and being a part of the music programs, it teaches so many life skills that I mean, I don't think I would have learned without being a part of that
Right.
program. lot of life skills, being dependable, and
I was going to say
working as
respect, team. Yes.
And, and I've talked to this. I've always had a soapbox with kids in my programs that say, oh, I've got a soccer practice, I can't be there, and I say, well, we're a team here too. We have responsibilities here too, and if you're not there to play your part,
right.
somebody may not be able to cover that part. And I've been in a concert before and had the star trumpet player not there, and it really
messed up the program.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of life skills that
it's like a car. You can't drive a car without four wheels.
Right.
So an entire band, you need all parts of that to make it come together.
Right.
Yeah, and that's also teaching the kids responsibility, reliability, like you said, respect, and getting a good foundation for what life really does bring your way later on, the things that you have to use in real life, you know. But I think that it's really great, that you guys are so enthusiastic on wanting to see these kids and children further their skills and become better at what they're doing,
Absolutely.
I can't imagine. I said it earlier off camera, just the grace that you guys have in general to be teachers is beyond what I could ever imagine. It takes a special person to be a teacher. It really does. And I give you great props for that. I really do. We are going to be talking about, though, some of the harder questions maybe, some of the concerns that you see here on the White Mountains in regards to the music programs or even in general the schools that you come across, some of the challenges as a music teacher, regular second grade teacher. So we want to talk about that. And we kind of already covered this, music being a subject that could possibly be cut from the curriculum. And I'm so happy that that's not a possibility. That's really good to know that. Because when you have a child and you hear they want to do something and you want to encourage them to do that, but you can't because there's no one there to support them on that,
Right.
So if my son came to me and said, I want to play the drums, well, how would I do that if we didn't have you guys and the school programs in general, so that's really great. So also I want to hear some good experiences, kids that maybe you have taught that have gone on to do something really neat. I'm sure they come back maybe and visit with you or you stay in touch with them or something. So really like to hear about that when we come back. Yeah. Nathan, Cynthia, thank you. Thank you for watching us on School Zone, and we'll be right back in just a minute. Welcome back to School Zone. We are back with our same guest, Cynthia from Show Low High School and Nathan from Linden Elementary. Second grade teacher, but former choir director, right? Band director.
Yeah.
And you are the choir teacher. So I was kind of hoping to get you ready so that you could get these answers. Get it prepared in your head. What are some of the concerns with the music programs on the mountains, if there were any, if you were able to express those or be able to fix any problems? Is there any that you see?
I think the biggest problem that we face is funding, as everybody is facing with funding. It's so hard to get good equipment and have decent stuff for the kids. Even getting music sometimes is
when
a
you
challenge.
say music, you mean the sheets?
Yeah, just,
and equipment, meaning the actual
right, getting
drums, guitars.
even chairs. Chairs for the program,
stands.
music
now,
stands.
Who funds this?
A lot of it is done with fundraising, which the community feels strapped. Some of it can be done through the schools, but the schools are so strapped right now that sometimes that money is just not there. So we get by with what we have and we do the best with what we can.
That's why I brought up is music a potential one on the chopping block?
Yeah.
If the funds aren't there, how do you keep it going? How do you justify spending the money? How do you, besides having you guys get on your knees and beg, don't, because this is really helping our kids.
Right.
How do you get the school board to say, no, we're going to keep it and we're going to fund it? Are you guys put last on the list?
Not necessarily. I think the enrollments that we have and the numbers of kids enrolled help us with that, but it's just equipment wears out over time.
Sure.
Getting the new stuff is always hard.
Do the children have their own? Like if they're a sax player or a guitar, do
A lot
they
of
have
them
their
do.
own?
Yeah, a lot of them
A lot
do.
of them do, and they bring it back and forth.
But
They will.
but there's still a lot in the district, being a Title I district. There's a lot of families that just can't afford
Sure.
to do
Right.
that. A lot of kids that I had at the junior high that, we had to supply them with an instrument, and then when that instrument breaks,
That's it.
it's up to the school to cover the cost of repairs and
Right.
everything like
Yeah.
that. So we had to have a budget for that, and that's getting harder and harder to keep in the schools. Yeah.
Yes, in the world that we live in, unfortunately, yes. What are some of the challenges in general that you come across as a music teacher previously in your position, but also as a second grade teacher? I can almost kind of answer that for you, just
Yeah, I'm sure.
second grade in general, but what are some of the challenges that you face and you deal with, and does it change year to year? Is there consistently one thing always that you're dealing with?
I don't know. I mean, I guess there's not tons of challenges that I face. I feel like I've got a very supported program, very supportive kids, parents that are excited to have their kids involved. The mundane, little things, I guess, I try not to let them bother me. I try to just remember what we're there for.
Right.
I don't know. I guess I would say there are good challenges, that there are a lot of kids coming, and sometimes I feel like I don't have enough time to give each of those kids to really help them become the musician that they need and want to be.
More
And
importantly.
I would say that's the challenge for me, is that I
Do you
want
go
to
home
help
and
these
beat
kids.
yourself up sometimes?
Sometimes, but I try not to, because I feel like if I can give those kids my best, and I had a teacher in college who said to me once, if you don't go home totally exhausted at the end of the day, you haven't done your job.
Wow.
And
Do you agree with that? Or
I do. I feel like
do you agree with that?
Yeah.
if I've given
Yeah.
those kids everything that I have, then I feel like I've given them my very best, and I expect them to give their very best to me as well.
Sure.
So,
And it's a partnership,
Yeah,
as well with the
it is.
parents too. We don't
Yes.
just send them off to school as parents and expect. Although, and this is how I have felt for years. I want to be your assistant. My kid is spending a majority of the day of the week with the teachers. So I want to make sure that I am following up what you're instilling, not
Right.
trying to fight the system, so to speak. So it is a
Right.
relationship, and you hope that the parents are backing your choices and decisions and suggestions to the
Yeah.
kids, So,
we have that.
yeah, it's good to have a relationship. So, how about the good experiences? What about for you? Have you seen a student further themselves in something you led them, got them to that point, and they went on and furthered themselves? And obviously not the second graders, but maybe.
Yeah. Well, and I've seen that this year with second grade too. But from the musical perspective, I had only been teaching for 3 or 4 years of teaching music, but there were several students that are at the high school right now that I remember teaching and working with, some percussion students that have just really just taken off
Excelled.
in that, really excelled in that skill set of playing percussion instruments. And it's
Do we have any American Idolists around us?
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe.
And it's not that I'm taking credit for anything that I did. They were just really awesome kids, and I remember working with these kids that were struggling at the junior high level, and then I come back a couple years
Struggling
later.
in what regard?
Well, just struggling learning how to read music. 'Cause,
Okay.
it's a new language.
Yes,
And then
yeah.
a lot of them at that age are trying to figure out how it all works and how it all fits together and all the,
As well as just
the
being a
rhythms
kid.
and- just the adolescent stage.
Yeah.
It's challenging, but to see how they've grown through high school and how they are right now as seniors is just awesome. To watch
It's
that.
rewarding.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Same for you. Yeah.
Definitely. I've seen a lot of students that have gone on. A few of my students that I taught in Joseph City that were juniors and seniors my first couple of years teaching, in particular when BYU did a show of Phantom of the Opera, she was backstage assisting and helping with that because that was her major.
Yeah.
So those kinds of things are fun to see. And just recently we've had students that have graduated in the last year that have gone on to major in music or opera. And just seeing the light come into their eyes.
Right.
You watch them go from this young student who's maybe scared to open their mouth, and then they
Blossom.
go forward. and they decide, this is what I love, this is my passion, and they go forward out into the world and they let it shine.
Right.
So it is so cool. We have lots of kids that have gone on to college
You're
and
planting
sing.
seeds. You don't know what that seed is going to turn into, and that in itself has got to be a rewarding feeling, you know, accomplishment. Planting any kind of seed is good, but when it's something that can change their life or change their family's lives, you know, the potential, it's got to be a good feeling. You can lay your head down at night and, you know, say, I did the best I could today. I didn't let anyone slip through the cracks, and I gave 100%. You know, now you can't beat yourself up about it. You know, that's just every day in life anyways. If you're not doing that, then you're doing something wrong.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so the good experiences that you have had with these kids, you know, just good stories maybe, anything that comes to mind that just makes you chuckle. How about the second graders? There's got to be something that's happened.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, I was just reminiscing today on how many times I've been called mom or dad.
I get
Isn't that good? Or I love you on accident. Okay, bye, I love you. Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I mean, it's just, I mean, those are little tiny moments, but they're very special to me too. So
They stick in
really
your
fun.
head.
Yeah.
How about for you, Cynthia?
There's always moments in music. In fact, we say that magic occurs in the choir room at Show Low High School because there are special moments. In fact, today, just singing with some of my students, there were some really neat moments where the kids actually captured the vision of the song, not just the notes and the words,
You
but
feel it.
They captured the emotion, and there was tears and feeling, and the lights just came out in their eyes. And that is the kind of experience we live for as music teachers every day, hoping that they will understand more than just the music on the page, that it is a passion, that music is life. There's so much to it.
Well, it makes me think about just last night, the Oscars were on, and Lady Gaga did her performance with the piano. I don't know if you've seen any clips of it yet.
Not yet.
Man, you could feel her singing about it. It was unfortunately about abuse that takes place with college kids, men and women, on site. The vice president came out and spoke about it, but my point being is that when she sang her song, you could tell that she had been personally affected by this topic of being abused, and it came through in her music and how she sang it and the way she was, I guess, hitting the piano. You know, it just kind of encompassed her into, and that's what it's about, isn't it? You're supposed, when I'm watching the talent shows or whatever, the singing shows, they say I didn't quite feel the song. You know, I didn't feel it, and I don't know. I'm not, you know, like I don't teach music. I just like to play it, you know. So I don't really understand what they're always saying by that. But you should feel the emotions of what it is you're singing about, you know, even if it's like a little red balloon, right?
Right.
You know.
Well, I tell my kids all the time that there's a reason why your voice box, or even for band instruments, students, they have to play with their lips right here, because it connects your brain and your heart, and it's right here in the middle where it all comes together.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where the magic happens, is right here.
Isn't that
So, you know, you connect the heart and the head, and everything falls into place.
But we should lead with our heart anyway. So
Right.
Let's see here. So I hope this isn't going to become a hopefully not a touchy subject, but do you have to be certified to be a teacher, music teacher?
Yes, you
a
do.
teacher in general, you've got to be certified.
I'll just say that you should be.
Okay.
Yes,
Is
you
that
do.
a skirt around answer there?
Yeah, I don't know.
In the state of Arizona, they do require that teachers, it is actually considered an academic core subject in Arizona. And so you do have to have a certified certificate. You have to pass the test. You have to have the content knowledge to be able to teach music in our state.
Okay. You have to be able to read the sheet. Because how can you teach if you don't know how to read the music notes?
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
And that's the thing is, you find some places where they have people teaching music that haven't been necessarily trained or educated in teaching music per se, but
Is this
they have
here,
some background
or-
in music, so they can at least teach the concepts that they've already learned themselves, and it becomes very, I guess. Very touchy, I guess, when you have somebody in there teaching, but they don't know how to read music.
Right. That's what I'm
Which-
thinking. Like,
Learning how to read music, even at the elementary level, is an important skill, an important
Right.
thing to teach. It's a standard that every music teacher should be able to teach. So.
yeah.
Yeah, that's-
Interesting. So I, unfortunately led to believe that you really didn't have to be certified. I always knew for like regular teaching you did, but I didn't know for, like, couldn't I just go in and be a PE teacher? You have to be certified for that.
do have to be certified.
So,
Yep.
okay, so before we wrap things up, am I going to be able to get now your throat's too tickly, a little
Yeah, it
line
is a
out of
little
you? I knew we should have gotten you some water.
No, I'm
Well,
okay.
we were talking, hopefully we can get some of your kids in with the instruments.
That would be
Hopefully
great.
next week and get them to
Right.
tape and follow up exactly what we're talking about and that
Yes.
passion that's there. So I think
Right.
that would be really neat.
Yeah.
Hopefully your schedules will be open. We can get you to come back too.
So.
Yeah, that'll be neat. So, well, I appreciate you guys so much for coming in. I know it's been a long day for you, but
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Any final words? If you had a moment you'd like to say something?
I'll just put a plug in real quick right now, just because we're trying to get the word out there, and I know a lot of people
Please.
have asked questions. Show Low High School will be presenting their annual musical, or biannual musical, I should say. We will be doing Seven Brides for Seven Brothers this year.
Okay.
And it is April 27th through 30th. So we'll just, kind of leave it on that. But I will say, I think music is alive and well in the Show Low School District for sure. And I think it's alive and well in the White Mountains. We have so many
Absolutely.
talented students.
Yeah.
And they are wonderful kids.
Good.
And it's fun to work with them.
Yeah.
And I was just going to add that too, that outside of the school districts here, the music is a huge part of the culture in the White Mountains, and there are a lot of performing groups, semi-professional performing groups that are around that love to perform and would really like to have more people attend their
Wonderful.
programs.
Yeah.
I perform in the White Mountain Symphony Orchestra, and we love to go out to the schools. We've done many performances with the school districts, and we're doing our Music Is concert this week, which is all about what music is about for
Okay.
elementary grades 4 through 5, and
Good.
it's just a really good program for just the community getting involved with the school and vice versa. So.
Well, that is wonderful. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on, taking the time out. I know you got to get going because you actually have kids doing
A performance.
tonight. So, well, thank you again. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Cynthia from Show Low High School, the choir teacher, and Nathan from Linden Elementary, 2nd grade, but former band director.
Yes.
So, thanks for joining us here on School Zone, and we'll see you next month.